Callow, cocking with a hot pen. You can't kill it with this glove, it will not fit. Evidence will not stick. Rapping with a self-respecting southerner. So bro, what's in your pot? Those are not grits. Spit bars, I stand behind mine. Yeah, sentences I serve, maximize guidelines. My lawyer can't give me his advice when he's beasts that I murder carry mandatory minimums of life. Yikes. In case you didn't get the point, we spit bars. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. I'm your man, AJ Throwback. Great to be here with y'all this evening. And this is the first of its kind right here. This is a special edition of The Maximum Sentence, where we are focusing on somebody else's lyrics for a change. That has nothing to do with any of my music. You know, we showcasing somebody else this time around, and we are showcasing none other than an awesome, awesome sister, none other than Sunshine Art Therapy. How are you doing, sister?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm doing great. Thank you. I appreciate being here. I'm excited.
Yes, so am I. Now, I want to let everybody know that I came across this sister on Instagram. You gotta love Instagram when they know the algorithms, they know what kind of music you like, and so they just feed the machine like, hey, check this song out right here. And that's how I discovered this sister, Sunshine Art Therapy. Like, she just came across my feed. I was like, okay, I like her vibe. I like the it's got a different kind of vibe, and I always gravitate toward artists who just like got an edge to them, you know what I mean, but like are very artful and creative in the way that they do things. You are definitely one of those type of sisters. So I'm honored to have you on my platform.
I appreciate that very much. I would love to know how they work that algorithm, that it just seems to line up like that.
Right. yeah. It's a wonderful thing, and I've come across so many great artists that way. I think what it is, like they know the type of artists like you're friends with and the type of artists like you tend to listen to, you know what I'm saying, just based on your likes and all of that type of stuff. Is creepy sometimes. It feels like they're stalking you on social media, but in a lot of ways I appreciate it, because otherwise I wouldn't find out about, you know, great artists like yourself. So I'm definitely thankful.
Me too. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So whenever I have a platform where I'm showcasing other people, I always love to know the origin story, you know what I'm saying, like of who you are before art was even a thing, before music was even a thing. Like, how did you grow up? Like, where are you from? All of that good stuff, just to give people a glimpse into the person behind the music, behind the art.
Very cool. So I'm from Queens Village, New York, and that's like Jamaica, Queens. And so, you know, it's New York, you know what I mean? So I was like always surrounded by music and art and just all that kind of beautiful creativity, you know? And I was just blessed and lucky to grow up in a household where creativity was encouraged and self-expression was encouraged. I went to LaGuardia High School of Music, Art, and Performing Arts, which is the high school that the TV show Fame from back in the day,
Right.
that high school. So it was like another opportunity to express myself creatively and just be surrounded by brilliant, wonderful, talented people. And I was a visual arts major there. And then I went to Maryland Institute of Art for college.
Okay.
Then I came back to New York, Brooklyn, moved to Flatbush, got a job at NBC. I was a graphic designer there right out of college.
Wow.
For a few years and a couple other places. Then I ended up moving to Georgia. And in Georgia, I had a lot of amazing experience. I went nonprofit for a while. I worked for some ad agencies for a while.
Yeah.
Ended up getting married, getting divorced, moving back to New York, and kind of discovering I needed an outlet. You know, I needed a place that I could express myself, and totally like happening upon creating music. You know.
Wow.
And it just it you know, people ask me all the time, like, you know, I have a college degree. I do what I do professionally. I'm a professional graphic designer. Like, why would you want to, you know what I mean? Why would you want to make music? You know what I mean? But nothing I have ever done in my life for myself has felt as beautiful and natural and healing and cathartic as writing a song.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, let's dig into that a little bit. Like, what does music give you that say graphic arts doesn't give you?
Oh, um, a moving connection, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
when you create a piece of visual art, it can be a very lonely experience. Usually, you're doing that by yourself, and then it's on display, and you might be there when it's seen, but often you're not there when it's seen. And there's a lack of, I guess, ownership in the sense that I know I did it, you know, but no one else might know I did it. When I create a song, it's literally my voice, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and there's an instant feedback. Like as I'm performing a song, I get to see the reactions. I get to hear the, you know, the laughter or the, you know, or see the pain when people connect with the pain. It's just a connection that I never experienced with visual arts.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful because as somebody who also started off in visual arts, I definitely can relate to that lonely feeling of sometimes you're really it's funny because I have a song called Loner's Remorse. And the thing about being a loner when it comes to visual art is that you spend a lot of time, granted you spend a lot of time alone when you're creating music as well, but you have, like you said, more instant connection. And it's a little bit easier for people to relate depending on what kind of music that you make. And the thing about a lot of your music is that it's very relatable. I think a lot of people, specifically women, can relate to a lot of the things that you say in your songs, you know, and that's not always something that comes across as easily in visual art, depending on the type of visual art that you make. And same thing with music. It all depends on what type of music you make. But I always feel like with music, there's always something for somebody, you know. So,
That's the beautiful thing about it, you know.
yeah.
I think whereas most of us as kids don't go to museums a lot, you know what I mean? Like we're not exposed to a lot of fine arts. We all listen to the radio, you know what I mean? We all
Yeah.
have access to music from the time we're very little. So I think there's more of a connection that people just naturally have to
Yeah,
music.
absolutely, absolutely. So, who are some of the artists that like you came up listening to
Oh,
that really
so
inspired you to
many.
want to make music?
So many, like so many. I just I eat it all up from all genres, from all eras, you know. I can't even begin to you know. I can tell you what I'm listening to right now, like what's kind of been stuck in my head more recently.
Absolutely.
So I've been on a Janet Jackson thing lately. Like
Yes.
I just like the connection to her early stuff, when she first kind of came into her own, to her when she became to like explore her sexuality. She gets raunchy with her. Like people don't
Yes,
really.
she
She
does.
was, you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I think we have this idea, like I think that especially more modern, younger people have this idea that people weren't raunchy back in the day. Like I listen to a lot of old music, and the blues is raunchy as anything, you
Yes, it
know.
is.
Like
Very.
like you know, so it's like I think it's kind of timeless, like expressing yourself and being human and sexual and you know free. I think that that's one thing that music allows, no matter the generation.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you feel like thinking about say somebody like a Janet Jackson? How do you feel like with I mean you of course you mentioned the freedom that she got to at a certain point of her career because I mean you think about her first I want to say two albums when she was on A&M Records like first and foremost they weren't that good. Second of all, like it was like really her trying to find herself, find her sound before she got with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and then once she hooked up with them it just took off from there. But even when you look from say Control to Rhythm Nation to I want to say the Janet album, that transition, you see that growth and you see like the layers start to develop and you see her come even more out of her shell. How do you feel like you identify with that in terms of like coming more so out of your shell through music?
Wow, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Um, a really great question. I the thing for me, I can only speak to my personal experience of music, and it's constantly evolving. Like I wouldn't say I have an okay attention span, but I wouldn't say I have the best attention span. And a lot of stuff goes over my head. Like I know what I like and I know what I'm feeling subconsciously, even when it's not conscious, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I listen to her songs that I heard like when back when they came out, and a
mm-hmm.
lot of stuff was over my head a lot, and I'm picking up on stuff now. I'm like, that was nasty, like you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
what I guess what I like about it is it's evolving. Even for me, it's evolving. I'm picking up things I didn't hear before, you know. And it's the
mm-hmm.
same thing with a lot of artists, like Sade, for instance. A lot of stuff, like I used to listen to Sade when I was younger. A
Yeah,
lot of stuff way over my head, way over
yeah,
my head. And now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So I think as you go through life and as you go through different changes and stages of your life, the music itself, the same song that you might have heard 100 times, you hear it that next time and it has like a whole new meaning, you know?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think Sade is a great example because one of the songs I thought about was Smooth Operator. Like I was a huge fan of that song when I was a kid, but being older and understanding like everything that she's talking about in that song, the layers that's to that song, and to think that that was on the first album and she evolved from there, but the fact that she was bringing those kind of gems on her debut album, it was
Amazing.
just like wow, yeah, exactly, amazing, you know what I'm saying? But it's you love to see that growth and you love to see how people grow with those artists, you know, because I mean, you think of, like I said, you know, with Janet, it was really like kind of a learning curve in terms of understanding what her sound was.
Yeah.
Sade, the same thing because her sound evolved over time, but like so did the fan base. They evolved with her over time, you know what I'm saying? So for you, I mean, I know like a lot of the music that you have out there is relatively new. But as you go through this process of creating music from like maybe the first time you started going into a studio recording music to this point now, how do you feel like you started to really kind of sort of catch your own groove and find your own sound? Because you have a very unique sound that I feel like you said you listen to a lot of different music and you can hear it. You can hear all of those different influences. Like it's not your typical hip hop music, and that's what I love about it, you know. So like how do you feel like you continue to kind of sort of find your identity and your sound through your music?
So that's the thing about it. It's always evolving. It's always changing, you know. And I think that because of my history as an artist, I'm very comfortable with growing as an artist. I'm very comfortable with it needing to evolve, needing to change, experimenting, trying new things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and the nature of it being to change, to grow, to change. You know, the way I felt yesterday is not the way I'm going to feel today. Who knows
Mm-hmm.
how I feel tomorrow? And all three of those are okay. You know,
Yeah.
so being okay with it, I think, is the first step. Being willing to make mistakes. What I'm really trying to do now is work on the art of subtlety. You
Yeah.
know, I want to be able, like I just said about these artists, what I love is some of it went over my head. You know, I could listen
Mm-hmm.
to it as a child, and you know, it would go over my head, but I still appreciated it. Now I'm listening to it as an adult, and I appreciate it on a whole new level. Who knows what I'll think of it when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can appreciate it through the stages of my life. And I want to be able to write music like that. You know, I think
Mm.
I've only been doing this for 2 years, you know.
Okay.
So my first project, my first single, I feel was very, you know, blunt, very blunt. And I am going to be blunt because I just happen to, I'm not good at the art of subtlety. You know, I'm working
Yeah.
on becoming better at the art of subtlety. But my EP, same kind of thing. Like the language is blunt, and you know, I'm a cursor. I'm gonna curse, but the it's very clear. You know what I mean? It's very out there. And I think my newer stuff, I'm working on that, making music where a lot of my songs now I feel like my children can listen to. You know, stuff that's not
Mm.
out yet. My friends who are not as comfortable with cursing can listen to and enjoy. You know, and I
Yeah.
can still enjoy them. I mean, I still have songs where I'm cursing up a storm. You know, but I'm working on being able to express myself in ways that are more, I guess, relatable and communicate my message better to everyone, to anyone that would hear it would be able to take a little bit of it in, that's
Yeah.
really
And that's important because um, I think there is a fine balance that you can strike. I won't say a fine line, but a nice balance that you can strike between being straightforward and being subtle. Because I was the same way when I first started. I didn't really do a whole lot of cussing, but I did enough. You know what I'm saying, when I first started out. And I never forget talking to somebody at my job and letting them hear it, and they liked it, but I think the cursing kind of sort of threw them off. So I was like, you know what? Thinking far ahead, I was like, okay, I want to make music that everybody can listen to. That's still me, but like a pastor could listen to, a kid could listen to, somebody that's in their 60s could listen to, somebody that's in my age group can listen to. It doesn't matter who's checking it out. They don't feel, I don't want to use the word offended, because it's like whether I offend somebody with my truth, that's if somebody gets offended by that, unless it's just something that's just outright just blatantly disrespectful, then it's like that's a them problem, it's not a me problem. But at the same time, I want to meet people in the middle as an artist. And I think that's a lot of times when we're artists, we have to understand that it's a consumerism based business, and you have to pitch your music to a certain degree to people, because once you give it to people, it's theirs, it's not yours anymore, you know.
And I love that about it. I
Yeah.
love that about it. I was looking at my Spotify year-end wrap-up and like looking at all the places that my songs got to this year.
Yeah.
Places I've never even heard of, countries I have never even heard of.
Mm.
And your song hit 100 streams in like Kazakhstan and all that, what I mean? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm like, where? So it's just such a powerful thing that you're connecting with people in a way that they, first of all, it's theirs. Like you
Right.
said, it's no longer mine, but that they would want to put it on their save list,
Right.
put it on their faves list. It's a powerful, powerful thing.
Mm.
In particular, the first song I ever did, I'm Not the One. I like to think about maybe, hopefully, a woman who is in a difficult situation and having to like, deal with whatever it is she's dealing with, being like, oh no, I'm not the one, and being
Yeah.
able to put that song on, and that's a nice feeling, and recognizing it is a gift. Long after I'm gone, those songs will be here. So
Right.
I like being able to share it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of a lot of those places that you mentioned, some places you have heard of, some places you haven't heard of. Where is this question just came to me randomly. Where is a bucket list place that you want to visit and or perform more than anywhere else in the world?
So I already went to my bucket list place.
Okay.
I went to Africa, and that
Mm.
was very important to me. I went when I
Okay.
was younger, right out of
Okay.
college, and I want to go back. I want to
Okay.
go back. I can't tell you how powerful the experience was.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I visited the slave forts of Ghana. I want to go back. Ghana, Senegal, the Gambia, West
Mm.
Africa. I
Okay.
also want to go to Egypt. I would love to see the pyramids.
Mm.
I've never been to Europe. I would like to go to Europe. I would love to go to South America. Like I would love to be able to experience these places. There's something about traveling and meeting people from everywhere that reminds us, first of all, how connected we all are, and at the same time, how small our world really is. You know what I mean? Like how big it is, but also how small it is. Like just two people talking.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the thing about it is, like, a lot of those places that you name, when I think about music appreciation, sometimes we take it for granted here in the States with a lot of music that gets made, but then you go abroad and people absolutely love what you do. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a good person, they really love what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are an accessible person, if you're somebody who prides yourself on being just as real as possible, like, you go to these other countries and, do your music, and they will eat it up. You know what I mean? So, like, I can only imagine, like, people listening in a lot of those places that you named just absolutely loving what you do, so.
I hope so. And I hope that I'm able to continue to grow as an artist and continue to put stuff out there, and continue to build a following so that one day I can go perform in these places.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you referenced "Past Due," um, which you released. You released that last year, if I'm not
Last year,
mistaken?
last November.
Last November. Okay, so it's been a little over a year. You know what I'm saying? Got some traction. First and foremost, what was the process in putting that project together? And was that your first full, like, I won't say, was it an EP or was it an album?
It was the EP.
Okay, was that your first EP?
It was.
Okay, so what was that process
It was horrible. It
like?
was
You say it
horrid.
was horrible.
It
Wow.
was
Okay.
horrible.
Wow. Okay. Let's dig into that
It
a
was
little bit more.
super crazy hard. It was really, really hard.
Wow. So what made it difficult for you?
Well, writing the songs wasn't hard.
Okay.
The reason I had to put out the EP is because I had written those 5 6 songs, and I'd written them, and I didn't want to stagger them, didn't want to wait. Never had put out. I put out 2 singles at that point, but I'd never put out an EP, and I wanted
Hmm.
to be able to say I put out an EP.
Yeah.
So I decided to release them all together, and it
Okay.
was a huge undertaking with very little budget and very
Hmm.
little know-how. I'd never done anything like that before, and because I didn't know what I was doing, there were a lot of like roadblocks and stumbles and figuring it out along the way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things I would do differently. If I ever do it again, which hopefully I will do it again.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from doing it, and I wouldn't take back a single horrible moment.
So, I mean, considering that, what what went right in doing it, and what would you do differently the next time around?
Um, what went right? So I think I picked great beats.
Mm, I agree.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
think that my budget was little, so a lot of those songs have least beats, and
Hmm.
that presented a problem as people connected with them, and I wanted to possibly use them for other things, like try to get them into commercials, try to get them into
Mm,
bigger places, and they're least beats, and I can't. There's nothing you can really do with a least beat if you
right.
can't get by the beat. And so as I went back to the producers, and that's the other thing, I didn't. Most of those producers I did not know. I
Hmm.
literally just leased their beats. So as I'm like, okay, well, I know how to like look up or find the producer now, and I'm going to the producers. I'm like, this is an amazing beat, and someone's interested in it for a commercial, and yada yada yada. They're like, yeah, it is an amazing beat. I sell that beat I lease that beat all the time. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
like I'm not able to do what I would be able to do now, knowing what I know now,
Hmm.
with Past Due, with a lot of those songs. Another thing I learned, it's like, so just learning how to connect with people, learning how to connect with producers, learning how to get the beats, learning just how to like do it in a way where I'm maximizing not just my earning capacity, but the producer's earning capacity, and building connections with, person to person. So now I got producers that live in other countries, you know what I mean? That like barely
Mm-hmm.
speak the language I speak, but we're on the same page, you know what I mean? So like I got producers, I needed to do it so that I now have a body of work. So now producers can go listen to my body of work and say, I like your sound. I think, we would match. Here are some beats. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I needed to stumble and learn how to crawl in order to, in order to run, in order to walk, in order to run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, one of the things that definitely jumps out about the project is the beat selection. Other than how you attack the beats, because I think that's very important for artists to understand is how to let the beat tell you what to do versus you telling the beat what to do, because you don't approach each song the same way. Like you got a different approach for every song, and I can tell that. I mean, you're an artist, so sometimes when you're a visual artist, it helps you to visualize how to see notes differently than most people do. You know what I'm saying? And how like to fall into those notes in a certain way, how to ride a beat a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely something that I can definitely give you praise for with that project, is that being your first EP is impressive. You know, I would have honestly thought that you had been doing it for an even longer time because of how polished you sound and how comfortable that you were. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you said that being a visual artist, but it's a little different when you kind of sort of make that transition sometimes, you know, but you sounded polished with a lot of the stuff that you did on Past Due.
Thank you very much. It was truly a labor of love, you know, truly a labor, pure love, which is crazy to say because I was in such a hurt and angry place from a lot of those songs, you know.
Yeah.
But it needed to come out. It needed to come out. It needed to release, you know what I mean, and let it go. But it was truly like I did it purely for the love of doing it and for the feeling it gave me of release and just it was just such a cathartic experience. Like I'm
Yeah.
just so glad I did it. I'm so
Yeah.
glad I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so are we who love the project.
Oh, thanks so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So I think this is a good place to play some of this music that we're talking about, you know, to give people a
Let's
taste
do it.
of you know, what is on this awesome EP of yours, Past Due. So I'm going to play 3 songs from the project, and then we're going to come back and we're going to dig into this new single that you about to drop. So we're going to start off with Credit. So I'll let you introduce Credit to everybody.
Okay. So Credit is a unique song because I wrote Credit. I didn't expect to write some songs I'm thinking about for a while. Some songs I hear a beat and the song comes to me. Credit came from experience I had. I was in a difficult situation with someone who had made my life very difficult financially. And
Mm.
and I care for this person. I cared for this person deeply, right?
Yeah.
And they owed me money. They had messed up my credit, and they owed
Yeah.
me money. Now, the when it came to me was it's funny how these things happen. He said, they called. We were in an argument,
Hmm.
and they called me a hoe,
Mm.
and I said, no, no, no. Hoes get paid,
Right.
okay? And you
Right.
haven't given me my money. Okay, so right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So credit
Yeah.
where credit's due. And it just like that. It was like that's the song credit. And then I was so later that night, I was you know, I was so upset. And I was and I look for like soothing things. I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of mindfulness practice. I'm trying to regulate, bring myself back down, de-escalate my mental.
Yeah.
And this quote came across my feed. It was a I want to say it was Confucius. I think it was Confucius. And
Okay.
it was when you seek revenge, start by digging 2 graves.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Okay. That's where that line comes from. Okay. Because that's one of my favorite lines in the song. Woo.
That hit me hard.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
hit me hard. And I was like, no, I'm not going to dig no graves, you know? But I was
Hmm.
like, but watch yourself, right? Watch yourself and watch myself. We're not digging no graves. But that's where it comes from because it comes from when you seek revenge, that's what you're really doing. You're not just digging a grave for the person that you want revenge. You're digging a grave for yourself as well. So that's where that
Absolutely.
came from.
Yeah.
That's where
That
it
is
came from.
powerful. That is powerful. And see, this is why the maximum sentence exists, so we can peel back the layers of great bars like that. Oh my
And it
goodness.
just came to me. That song just
Yeah.
came. That night, I wrote the whole song.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what I love about it, and see, this is where good sequencing comes in on an album, because credit comes and then Muse follows right after that, and it kind of keeps that theme going. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you did very well in terms of sequencing the project and making everything make sense together, you know?
I was trying to make it like a story because that's what it is. It's a story of a situation I was going through.
Yeah.
Trying to make it flow like that, you know.
Hmm. It definitely flows. Definitely flows. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into credit. We're gonna get into 2 other songs from Past Due, and we're gonna come back right back with Sunshine Art Therapy right here on the Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. Let's go.
Motherfucker, talk to me when you got good credit. Better invest now, for you can't afford to get it. Chick you follow on IG pays me for filters and edits. If it sound like I'm in it, then I probably said it. If it sound like I'm in it, then I probably said it. If it sound like I'm in it, then I probably said it. Better invest now, for you can't afford to get it. Motherfucker, talk to me when you got good credit. Motherfucker, talk to me when your bills is paid. If you gonna seek revenge, start by digging 2 graves. They be mad on hammer time, high top with the fade. But once they feel the sunshine, they will never feel the shade. Once they feel the sunshine, they will never feel the shade. Once they feel the sunshine, they will never feel the shade. Don't be mad on hammer time, high top with the fade. Motherfucker, talk to me when your bills is paid. Motherfucker, talk to me when you know how to mean it. If you can't keep word, then you get left feeling. If you disrespect the work, you will never come between it. Once you see the town live, you'll be glad that you seen it. Once you see the town live, you'll be glad that you seen it. Once you see the town live, you'll be glad that you seen it. If you disrespect the work, you will never come between it. Motherfucker, talk to me when you know how to mean it. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Motherfucker, talk to me when you got good credit. Better invest now, for you can't afford to get it. Motherfucker. Okay, that's it.
Let's go.
Talk a good game, but I see you playing though. You better be paying if you calling me a hoe. You can keep the money, block the cash app, use the no. Bloated ego, need to let that shit go. Talk a good game, but I see you playing though. You better be paying if you calling me a hoe. In fact, you can keep the money, block the cash app, use the no. Bloated ego, need to let that shit. No, I can't do this no more. Know that I said it before. Wanting your love's a chore, so I'm through fighting the war. I am so through with the fight. I can see right through the lies. I know that I'll be alright. Unstable base help me take flight. You playing me for a fool. You know that shit wasn't cool. Now class is in session again, motherfucker, and you wish you studied in school. Now that you dug your own ditch, now that you fiending for fix. Now I bet you wish you meant that shit when you said I was your bitch. Now that you dug your own ditch, now that you fiending for fix. Now I bet you wish you meant that shit when you said I was your bitch. You said I was your bitch. You said I was your bitch. Maybe it was toxic. Maybe I kinda liked it. You talk a good game, but I see you playing though. You better be paying if you calling me a hoe. You can keep the money, block the cash app, use the no. Bloated ego, need to let that shit go. Talk a good game, but I see you playing though. You better be paying if you calling me a hoe. In fact, you can keep the money, block the cash app, use the no. Bloated ego, need to let that shit. You was trying to have multiple wives, she was fucking up multiple lives. Dropped you, now I'm flying high. Sunshine is back in the sky. I was still holding you down, you was still fucking around, damn near me to the ground. Now you can't talk to me, don't make a sound. Listen to all your music, gave you my notes on the shit. Don't know if you was ever gonna pop, but I would've been the reason for it. I was the reason you popped, now I'm the reason you stopped. Don't know if you still can, but go ahead, try to write me something I wanna bop. Try to write something I wanna bop. Try to write something I wanna bop. Go ahead, I'll wait. I knew you had to go thuggin'. Gave you some bread, some thick lovin'. Didn't help me, I was struggling. Gaslight almost had me buggin'. I knew you had to go thuggin'. Gave you some bread, some thick lovin'. Didn't help me, I was struggling. Gaslight almost had me buggin'. Gaslight almost had me buggin'. Gaslight almost had me buggin'. Almost. You talk a good game, but I see you playing though. You better be paying if you calling me a hoe. In fact, you can keep the money, block the cash app, use a no. Bloated ego, need to let that shit. Treated me like I wasn't shit. Said I'm not a queen, not a bad bitch. It was you who's less than average. Thank you, it turned me into a savage. Thank you, it turned me into a savage. Thank you, it turned me into a savage. Thank you, it turned me into a... It really did. Call me Basquiat, call me Da Vinci, call me Van Gogh. I'm a walking work of art who just bought her first Picasso. Call me Basquiat, call me Da Vinci, call me Van Gogh. I'm a walking work of art who just bought her first Picasso. I just bought my first Picasso. She did say face, you still a little confused. You fuck around, you lose your muse. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go on a walk. Let's go. Let's go to the park. Let's go at the dark. Hold up, let him fuck. Wait up, wanna be mine? Easy. Say I'm fine. Now you walk with a dime. Real money on time. Real money on Cause a day late is $1 short. Yeah, 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 a day late is $1. Real money on time. Real money on time. Real money on time. Let go. Real money on time.
And we're back.
Yay.
What a great set. What a great set. Man, those songs, like, when you got the right earphones, music sounds even better. You know what
Did
I'm
you
saying?
hear how I'm bouncing the sound back?
Yes. Absolutely love it. Like that panning, I love it. I absolutely
Really?
love
Oh
it.
God,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I fought hard to be able to do that, you know. Sound engineers don't like it when you try to do stuff like that.
That's why you got to push those boundaries like that, you know?
That's right. It sounds really good in the car too. It like bounces back and forth.
Yes, absolutely. Especially when you got a good system, you know what I'm saying? My system is okay, but I've had great systems, but even on a mid system it sounds good.
I'm telling you. And like that's the thing about it is like I decided a long time ago I was going to do this for me. You know, I'm never going to put out a song that I wouldn't bump in my car when I need to. I hear that. So like I love it when I'm bumping it and it's like bouncing back and forth and I'm like, where's this? It's moving the sound. I love it. So good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love so many parts of Muse. Like it's so many bars that I could pull out, but I'm gonna pull out one before we get to drop. Cause that's really kind of like part of the main event, so to say, because I know that's an upcoming single. But I want to go back to something you said in Muse, where you said you was trying to have multiple wives, you was fucking up multiple lives, dropped you, now I'm flying high, sun shines back up in the sky. Like, I feel like so many women specifically can relate to those particular lines, because a lot of times when you get in a relationship with somebody, you end up dimming your light in order to try to help that other person to shine. But they don't do the same for you. They don't elevate you to the point where you can shine. You know what I'm saying? So peel back that bar a little, those bars a little bit more for me in terms of like what it meant for you to get to that point where like, hey, I'm back to shining like I'm meant to.
Wow. Wow, you picked a good one there.
I try to pick some of the best bars.
I had a lot of inner debate about that particular set of bars because I like open relationships. A lot of my relationships have been open in the past. I don't necessarily have a problem with someone who wants to have multiple wives, multiple husbands. Live your life, live your truth. What I have a problem with is dishonesty. You know, what I have a problem with is being lied to and getting calls on my phone, you know, from other people that have also been lied to. So I didn't want the bars to come across like I was insulting people that you know, live your life, like, you know what I mean? So I wanted to, it was my experience, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a situation. It was, you know, I wanted to make it absolutely clear that the fucking up the lives is the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The lack of honesty and forthrightness and directness about what we really want. You know, I know so many amazing people in my life, and I feel like we would all just be so much happier if we could just all be direct and upfront. And you know, we have, especially in I think, and I'm getting deep here, but especially in my culture, I know so many people, and it's been my experience, and not even people I know, but what I see on TV and what I see, you know, on social media, whatever, the cheating, the lying, the sneaking around, all that on all sides, and not just one side or the other side. It's such a waste of time, you know. It's such a waste of time and energy, and it's just so unnecessary. And if we could just all be upfront, monogamy isn't for everybody. You know, it's okay to be where you are. You don't have to lie to get some. Like, be maybe that person wants to meet you right where you are. If we can just all be honest and upfront about the situation, you know. If we can't have it, that's the beginning of an honest conversation for me, you know. And when I became okay with who I was and what I was looking for in my relationships and the way I like to handle my life, I attracted other people who were also ready to be honest about what they were looking for. And as long as I was being held back by somebody who wasn't able to be honest, that's all it is, you know, about this situation and what they were looking for. Because it might have worked if they'd just been able to be honest, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I really did feel like now I feel better. Like, woosah, you know, woosah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, shout out to one of my brothers, Marcello Bradley. He has a great platform called What's Up With You. And he actually had a conversation recently about making your intentions clear from the beginning when you deal with somebody. You know, should you roll it out off the rip, you know what I'm saying, first date? And a part of me is like, yeah, because then that's going to separate the real from the fake. It's going to separate the people who's, you know, as some of us say in DC, either you going to barbecue or you going to mildew. You know what I'm saying? Like, which one you going to do? You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Yeah. One of my homies gave me that term and I'm like, I've been using it ever since. But it's just really a matter of like, when you're honest with people and upfront about what you want out of a relationship, whether it's an open relationship, whether it's monogamy, no matter what it is. But yes, when it does get down to the dishonesty, and, you know, I don't say this as somebody who's, you know, judging anybody who's done it. I actually say it as somebody who has been that person who wasn't honest, you know what I'm saying? But being in a more enlightened state of my life, I realized that if you just say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, you know what I'm saying, then you save a whole lot of heartache for a lot of people involved, because that's the thing. Like you said, you're messing up multiple lives when you don't keep it real.
Yeah, including our own. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Probably more of our own than anybody else's,
Hmm.
because you get to a point where you start living this you're living in this false state of, okay, I'm living my best life at the expense of somebody else or at the expense of a whole bunch of other people, and I'm not really being true to who I am, so you end up, as a person who isn't honest, you end up living in your own prison or creating your own prison for yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, powerful, powerful song. And the dope thing about it is that, like, you listen to the flow. It's such an unorthodox flow that I love. It's certain songs that it's like I like an unorthodox flow because it works with the vibe of the song. It was another part where you was like, maybe it was toxic. Maybe I kind of liked it. It was like that is one of the realest bars I've heard somebody say in a song. It's like, well, how many of us have been in that state?
You know, like
Yeah.
living, you gotta live in your truth. You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe it
That's
was toxic, and maybe I did kind of like it.
right, right, for real, for real. Yeah, we I feel like we've all been there at some point, somehow, some way.
This music has helped me heal so much. Like
Yeah,
accepting myself where I am. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And recognizing that, gee, maybe somebody might relate. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, let's talk about this new song that she about to drop, called Drop. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that you talked about Janet a little bit and how she started getting a little racier with those lyrics. And Drop is definitely a little on the racy
Woo!
side. Talking spicy on that joint.
Yes.
so talk so
So
talk about the inspiration for that.
drop. Drop is coming out 16th, December 16th.
Awesome.
I'm super proud of it. So basically, after I put out Past Due, I kept writing, but
Hmm.
I didn't really have, I guess, I didn't know where I wanted to go next.
Yeah.
I felt kind of like I felt a great sense of relief, a great sense of release, but kind of like a little bit lost because I didn't know. I felt like my songs up to then had been a lot of them had been angry. You know,
Mm.
some were joyous, some were loving, but I d- I'd been writing from a place of a passionate, like, get it out. You know,
Yeah.
and after I sat back for a minute, I didn't really know where I wanted to go next. So a friend of mine said to me, "What you need is a strip club anthem. Like you need something that makes people want to dance. Like she's like,
Mm.
you got such amazing beats, right? But your
Yeah.
beats are always talking about such a hard shit. Oh, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely,
I can't curse
absolutely.
there. Like
Hold on,
your beats.
I was gonna say I've been playing explicit music. Of course you can
I
curse.
know, right?
Let it
She's like,
fly.
you need to have something that's just like get them popping it on the floor. Like that's what
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
And maybe you would like that too. Like maybe maybe that'd be a nice energy for you. I
Hmm.
said, well, I'd love to do that. He's like, you need a strip club anthem, and I was like, I'd love to do that, but I've never been to a strip club. The grown ass woman,
Mm.
never been to a strip club. And he was like, we are going to take care of that tonight. So that's exactly what we did. We went out to the strip club, and I had an amazing experience.
Okay.
I had a like kind of a behind the scenes kind of access and experience. Because I was mistaken for a stripper, and you know,
Mm.
I feel like it's a good night when I get mistaken for a stripper. So
I'm not mad at that at all.
so I went with it. I went with it. I didn't correct anybody. You
Yeah.
know, they asked me if I was working tonight. I was like, maybe we'll see how the night goes. And I had an amazing experience. I was taken aback by the work ethic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's like any other job, like being in corporate America for so many years. There are people in corporate America, just like there were people at the club, that are there to punch the clock and like just wait out their time until they can go home. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then there are people who are putting in the work, you know, and walking out with real money because they put in the work. And so like watching the different work ethics, watching the different personalities, watching like how the different performers read the room, you know, and worked the room, performed. I just sitting back and watching was an amazing experience. But the song came to me when I saw one of these dancers who was working. Okay.
Yeah.
The woman came in, got changed, came back out looking amazing, and immediately went to work. Like she, like, you know, scope in the room, deciding, you know, where she was going next. Like she had a plan for the night, okay, and she left with a bag. And I'm watching her work through the night, and I see her put in some real work on a song, and not get any money. Like he literally didn't get her any money. So I was kind of upset, like watching the experience.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about like these things I'd heard about, like a pole coming loose at a club and a dancer seriously injuring herself. Like the pole literally came down, and like other things like that. And I started thinking to myself, this is a job. Like people don't treat it like it's a job. Like these, you know, they're not here for their health. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is a job.
Yeah.
This is work, you know? Yeah. And so after the night I had that experience, it was also I want to also say it was a lot of fun. Like a lot of the people I spoke to there, the women I spoke to there, I could tell they like it. Okay. They like being looked at. They like being admired. They like that they can make money doing what they enjoy doing, and they like it, you know? And I also liked it. And I made a couple of dollars there myself that night. And it was a beautiful experience. Beautiful experience. And also I felt like there needs to be more a sense of camaraderie and a more sense of this is a job, pay these people what they're worth. So I went home that night, and the same thing, that night I wrote that song.
Wow. And I'm glad that you gave a backstory to it, because then it really amplifies the lyrics even more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a dope song. Like when you listen to it, it's like, okay, strip club anthem. Yeah, I can hear that. You know what I'm saying? But then like the backstory is like, dang, that's like, there's a whole social commentary behind this, you know? Like it's
not getting
but that's real. And to me, that's always my favorite kind of music. That is relatable, and that if you're going to talk about certain subjects, that there's a social commentary to it, whether it's explained or implied in the lyrics itself, you know? So I think that's dope. I think that's really dope.
Thank you so much. And you know, it really like these like if you I think when people really listen to the lyrics, it's not just a simple strip club song. Like these women are talented people, you know what I mean? Right. Putting in real work. And like it says in the song, these thighs are a treasure. Watch how we move them so clever. But we are in this together. You need to pay for the pleasure, you know? Like, that's it. You got to pay. I could do it at home for free, but my mirror needs to start paying me.
That part.
In your company, but I come for high salary.
Yes. Yeah. Like you pointed out a good amount of like my favorite bars of the song, and we gonna peel back them layers just a little bit more, because what I like to do on this platform is ask questions based of, you know what I mean, as you can see, ask questions based around your lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Because of course it's the maximum sentence where there's conviction behind the bars, so there's meaning to what you're saying, you know, and you've already laid out a good amount of it. So I think this is a perfect time to introduce Drop to the people, give them a taste, and we're going to come back and peel back some more layers of these lyrics. So why don't you go ahead and introduce Drop to everybody.
I'm Sunshine Art Therapy, and this is my new single, dropping December 16th everywhere.
Yes. All right, y'all. So we're going to play Drop. We're going to come back, peel back some of these layers right here on the maximum sentence where there's conviction behind the bars. Let's go.
I wanna drop some ass for you. That's what I've come to do. I'm about to drop some ass for you. I'm about to drop all this ass. And when me and my girls come through, they drop pleasant streams of revenue. We about to drop some ass for you. You about to drop all that cash. These eyes are a treasure, watch how we move them so clever. But we are in this together, you need to pay for the pleasure. Play me some Cardi, some Nicki, play me some Lizzo to get me Trina, get me Missy. Then watch how that Remy hit me.
These eyes are not for play, and it ain't like we got all day. What I'm really tryna say, when it drops, then you gotta pay. 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 When it drops, then you gotta. I wanna drop some ass for you. That's what I come to do. I'm about to drop some ass for you. I'm about to drop all this ass. And when me and my girls come through, we'll drop pleasant streams of revenue. We about to drop some ass for you. You about to drop all that cash. I can do it at home for free, but my mirror needs to start paying me. I could work in your company, but I come for high salary. Watch you wiggle it, then it drop. It ain't a little, no, it's a lot. Work in the middle, it don't stop. The way you jiggle it, glitter, no, it's a lot. Watch you wiggle it, then it drop. It ain't a little, no, it's a lot. Work in the middle, it don't stop. The way you jiggle it, glitter, no, it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a drop.
Yes. Once again, drop. Brand new. You know what I'm saying? Dropping on the 16th. Yeah. Like I said, there's some lyrics in there. There's some lyrics in there. But I want to go to the part because, I mean, of course, you dropped some names in there. You know what I'm saying? That I think a lot of people, a lot of those artists definitely got some anthems. You know what I'm saying? That could definitely get some love in the club. You know what I mean? But of course, let's pull out the lyrics where you said, "Play me some Cardi, some Nicki, play me some Lizzo to get me, give me Trina, give me Missy, then watch how that Remy hit me." I like the last line because that could be taken as a double entendre. You know what I'm saying? That could be whether it's Remy Martin as in the drink or Remy Ma as in the artist. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. So those particular women, you know what I'm saying, that you name, you know, dope in their own right for what they do. And all of them are different. You know what I'm saying? They're not the same type of artists, you know? So like for you, just on an artistic level or like just kind of looking at them for what they do, what is it about each of them that kind of sort of stands out for you?
So, these are the artists that make me feel sexy. You know, I can put on a song and feel beautiful. And like I talked about being in the mirror, you know what I mean, and doing my little thing in the mirror. I when I'm getting ready to go out, you know, when I'm getting ready to, you know, getting ready to perform, or even just getting ready to go out on a date or whatever it is. Those are the artists I put on to remind me that I'm a bad bitch and that I'm sexy, you know, and each one of them has a song that I just like, I need to hear it sometimes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So for each one of them, so let's start with Cardi. What's the song about her that you... Oh, yes, I'm going to put you on the spot. You know, it could be one song, it could be a few songs, you know what I'm saying?
Put me on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
So she has Cardi B has a song, Clout. She has a couple of different songs. There are some lines that she drops in Clout.
Yes.
Public opinions from private accounts, like, you know, just like not worrying about what people think about you. You know what I mean? You know.
I'm a huge fan of Clout. I love that one. Yeah. And I don't think people gave Clout. It's like it got play, and it was, you know, it was a big record, but you know, I don't think that's a record that's talked about enough amongst like the ones that have been singles and that have, you know, made noise and whatnot. Because I mean, it's certain ones you always hear about, but that one, yeah, I agree with you on Clout. Clout was she was spitting some bars on Clout.
I like that one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what about Nikki?
Oh God. Well, you know I'm from Jamaica, Queens, so
Right, of course.
you can't put on anything wrong when you put
Right.
on Nicki. So
Yeah.
there's just everything else. I like Megatron. I've been rocking with Megatron recently, but
Okay.
there's so many. I like Chung Lee. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many songs that make me feel sexy. That's really what I'm looking for. Like I want to feel like, you know, like I am that chick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of her songs do that for me.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 I do like Chun Li. Like Chun Li was one of them songs when I first heard it, I liked it, but as I kept hearing it, I liked it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like the beat on that joint, I absolutely love that beat. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then I really like when she says, like sometimes, you know, sometimes I'll upset someone and I don't mean to upset them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm the bad guy, huh? I'm the bad guy.
Absolutely. All right. So Lizzo, what about Lizzo?
Oh Lord. I love Truth Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
I love Truth Hurts. Truth Hurts. I mean, I like that's a different kind of feeling. That's a like get in my bag, like get in my bag feelings, you know.
Yeah.
And the sexy, I just have so much love for her because she's the first time that I can remember a thick girl like me, you know, like I'm solid. I'm solid built, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her cover, she's completely naked on her
Right.
cover.
Yeah.
I I've been big since I've been off and on. Like I've had skinnier times in my life, bigger times in my life. But when I am bigger, it's hard to feel confident, or at least it was in the past. And getting to a place where now I'm still dressing half naked. You know what I mean? Whether I'm big or little, I
Yeah.
like it. I like feeling sexy. I'm not gonna wear baggy clothes just because I put on a couple pounds. You know.
Right. Yeah.
And she exudes that confidence. You know, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah, she definitely does. People can say whatever they want about her, but she is somebody who you are not going to be able to knock her off of her square. You know, you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to tell her anything other than, you
And I
know, that
love
she's awesome.
the messages in her music are just so powerful and beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. One of my favorites of all time, of course, you mentioned, and somebody who you remind me of so much, and that's Missy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's a Missy song
That
for
is
you?
such a high compliment. That's
Oh
such a
yeah.
high compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, she's brilliant.
Yes,
She's
she
brilliant.
is.
And I think that because she never really has dressed like scandalous, you know what I mean? People overlook the seductiveness of her. Some of her lyrics are very, very raunchy too.
Very.
Like I'm like, how is
Very.
she? And she seems to just fly on right under the radar with it. Like some of stuff,
Hmm.
I'm like, they're not gonna bleep that. Like, woo, you know,
Right.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
just, and the thing about her too is, her beats.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
God, so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't with her beats. It's brilliant, just
Right.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a song that she's ever gone wrong on that I can't put on and just be in love with.
Right.
There's a song. Oh Lord, I'm forgetting the name. Oh my goodness, it's a song she has with Ludacris.
Is it Gossip Folks?
Gossip
Is it the one?
Folks.
Yeah,
That
the
beat.
one that Gilzu. You talking about that one? Yeah. Yes. Yes. When I first heard, I think that's off of Under Construction. When I first heard that album and heard that song before it was even a single, I was like, bruh, what is this? This is freaking incredible.
On another level. On
Yeah.
another level. And she don't
Yeah.
miss. She don't miss. Like I don't think she's ever done anything that I can't throw on. And like when I talk about her beats, like if there's one artist that beats just inspire me. Like I just like
Yes.
I need beats to move me. I need beats to make me want to move. Like every beat I have makes me want to get up. You know, that's a big thing for me. You know, I
Yeah.
have to it has to make me want to get up, clean the house, go on a walk, you know what I mean? Go do
Yeah.
something. And that's what her
Yeah.
music is for me.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, whether it's Timberland producing her, whether it's Pharrell, because Pharrell done some stuff with it that people, I don't even think people knew that it was Pharrell doing it because they got used to it being Timberland for so long, or whether she's doing the production herself because people overlook the fact that Missy is a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is an artist's artist. This woman she can sing. She's got a great voice. Like, when it comes to vocal arrangements, my God, this woman, like, she got some of the best vocal arrangements of anybody in the
And like
business.
fearless, just fearless
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
She. I feel like she makes the wave. You know.
Yes, she does. She absolutely, every time she does something, she creates a brand new wave that only really she's on. Nobody, she is. There are certain artists in the game that I feel like cannot be duplicated. Like, I think of, say, a Busta Rhymes, who, oddly enough, when I listen to Drop, I feel like that's something that Busta Rhymes would try. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I hear the way that you do the hook, it reminds me of Busta Rhymes. And it's so funny that I'm comparing you to like two people who are like the most dynamic artists in the game. You know what I'm saying?
I love Busta Rhymes. I love,
Yeah.
and you know what's crazy is I'm honored as well that you would compare me to him. But I heard recently, this is not recently, actually, it was a while ago. They were trying to think of somebody to do a versus against Busta. You know,
Yeah.
they were like, well, there's no one to do a verse against Busta because he's totally in his own lane, in his own category. And this chick made this great comment. She was like, "You're looking in the wrong gender, obviously." Missy.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I have been saying this for years with that whole versus format. I'm like, I think the problem with it is that a lot of times people just say, okay, guy versus guy or woman versus woman. I'm like, no, you look at artists versus artists. Who are the most comparable artists? Because I always think about, and I've been saying this for a while, and I got other people who actually agree with me on this. If I were to, people kept talking about Usher versus Chris Brown. And I'm like, you know who I'd rather see? Usher versus Beyonce. Because think about it. They both have been out not too long. They're basically in the same generation. Actually, Usher's been out a little bit longer than Beyonce. But they continue to evolve. They continue to reinvent themselves. They continue to be relevant no matter how long they've been in the game. They both are performers. And people sleep on Usher's vocal ability because they focus on him as the dancer, but Usher can sing. Yes,
Usher can sing. I love Usher. Usher is absolutely amazing, but
Yeah.
nobody can touch Beyonce. Okay.
Hey, I'm not arguing with that. That's my girl. I love me some Beyonce. Absolutely. I'm not gonna sit here and try to upset the Beehive. I know better. But I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. But I would love to see that versus. Like, I would rather see that than Usher versus Chris Brown, to be honest, because I feel like both of them also have bodies of work.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Chris Brown, he has a lot of singles, but his albums I don't feel like he has comparable albums to either one of them.
Hey, I didn't know that he'd been out longer than her. That's
Yeah. Usher has been out since the first album he put out was 94. And his first single that he put out was, I think it was Call Me a Mac. That was in 93. A lot of people forget about that song. Yeah. You know, and a lot of people forget about that first album.
And that's what I love, especially about a lot of the artists that I name in Drop, because they're artists that have been around. Like, for me, a good song stands the test of time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's not like Trina. I mentioned Trina as well.
That's right. Can't forget Trina. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's the Trina song?
The Baddest Bitch.
Oh yeah.
Who's bad?
That's the one. That is the one.
Anytime you put that on, and I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, it reminds me. Okay,
Yeah.
Sunshine. Who's bad? You know.
yeah. And oh my gosh, the stuff that she talks in that song, my goodness, I'm like, yo, it is some of the most like reckless,
I love it.
just wanton disregard for decency that
I'm
I've
with
ever heard in a song. That I'm like, yo, she is with the shits for real.
But that's what I see. That's what I connect with that, because it's like, if there's one place on earth where you can express your truth or whatever it is you need to express, it's art. You know, it's art. And like, because I think I grew up just surrounded by it. The more real, the more intense, the more dramatic, the more I connect with it. And I love that song. Like, I love her, but I love that song. I love that song.
Absolutely. That's out of all the songs that she's ever put out, that's definitely my favorite one. Like, as her as a solo artist, or her as a primary artist, that's definitely my favorite. The first time I seen the video,
I love
and oh my God, that really amplified how awesome that song is, you know. Yeah, great stuff. So, the double entendre line, was that meant to be a double entendre, or was it a reference one way or the other?
So, it was. I love double entendres. I love double entendres.
Me too.
I try to make a point in having at least one in every song, and I believe I've been successful so far. There's nothing like. There's just. I learned very early through creating art that a lot of it is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean? You're going to take it the way you want to take it. And there's no wrong way to take it. Like, you take it the way you take it. Like, it's so important to me to have a couple of double entendres in there, you know?
Absolutely. You need them.
It was meant to be a double entendre. That being said, I don't drink. I stopped drinking years ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's definitely referring to Remy, the artist.
Well, all right.
And
so what's a Remy song?
It's a Remy song. It's referring. Well, I mean, I think you can kind of guess from the, I'm naming all these female rappers, and I say, watch how that Remy hit me. But
I feel like the first song that I thought about was Conceited. That's the first one.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You named it. You dropped it right there. Yeah. That song at times saved my life. Like, I have like really bad anxiety and depression, that kind of stuff, and I have felt like really down about myself at times. And that song has given me the confidence to just be like, what if I am like, I look too good to be dealing with this nonsense. Like, I look too good to be dealing with this man or this problem or this situation. I look too good. Like, I should not have to be. I'm better than them.
Right. Exactly.
And to not feel ashamed for thinking so highly of myself. I adore that song. That is like one of my anthems, and like, that's what I wanted this to be. I wanted this to be like, you want me on the floor at the club, this is what you put on.
right exactly. That's right. Yeah And that's one of those songs, I loved it when it first came out, but I appreciated it even more as the years went on, especially when I kept hearing Remy Ma talk about the song, you know what I'm saying, and the story really behind the song, and really just the importance of that song at that time, because that album, I think it's from There's Something About Remy, I think it's from that album, and she went through a lot to even get to that point to release the album, number one, and then number two, testing out a couple of singles outside of that. And then that was the one that kind of sort of like really just opened it up, once that one hit. Because it's such an infectious beat by, Scott Storch. And then like the way that she just attacks it is real smooth. Like, I'm not Remy Ma, Annie Up remix Remy Ma. I'm Remy Ma, like, I'm feeling sexy. I'm feeling good about myself. And it really did become like an anthem for like so many women, you know what I'm saying? That I just really come to appreciate that song even more as I've gotten older and I've heard it more and more and more, So, yeah.
I think also it can be an anthem for us all. Like, we can all feel conceited at times, and we all might have a reason to, and that is okay.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's a dope one right there. Definitely a dope one. So you mentioned a line before we went to before we broke the played drop. The line where you said, hold on, I want to make sure because I always want to make sure I get the lines right. So you said I could do it at home for free, but my mirror needs to start paying me. Like that's like two of my favorite bars right there. So I'm gonna ask a question based on those set of lines a little differently. So if you personally had to put a dollar amount on the illest dance that you've ever done in the mirror, and it doesn't have to be, anything racy. It could be, just whatever. The illest dance that you ever done in the mirror, like really think about it. If you could put a dollar amount on it, what would that dollar amount be?
OMG, I do not know how to answer this question. I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. In my personal opinion, I look much better in the mirror or like looking at it, like doing a selfie than I do out because being an artist, I'm used to being behind the camera and I'm used to like knowing my angles and cropping and everything. And I like being behind the camera. When I'm out walking down the street, I think that I have to make sure, am I holding my back straight? Am I, you know what I mean? Like, am I checking my posture? Like, I think I'm more comfortable and I think I look better when I'm doing it in the mirror to my damn self than I ever look out in the world.
Yeah, and that was going to be a question of mine too. I was going to ask that question, because I think most of us feel that way, like when it comes to dancing in the mirror versus when you're actually out, or if you're a singer, how you sing in the bathroom versus how your voice sounds in the studio, or if you're a rapper. You got all these, you're looking like Issa Rae in the mirror, got all these bars. You know what I'm saying? And you get on stage, it's like, okay, it's showtime. What's up?
I definitely have that experience with being in the studio. I don't want to say I don't like it because there's beautiful times, there are beautiful moments in the studio, but I don't like it. I much prefer being in front of people and sharing with people. It's very, very hard to do it when it's just me alone with one other person, and I'm in a dark room by myself, and you know what I mean. I like performing and I like doing it in front of people. It's also nerve-wracking, but it feels at home, and that instant feedback, that instant connection, like when somebody catches a line and I'm surprised they catch it, and like I see they caught it and they see that I see it. It just is the connection with other people that I adore. I'm thinking about more and more about trying to do more live stuff because it just feels so much more natural. And at the same time, I'm trying to work on getting more comfortable in the studio.
Yeah. It's a process because I know for myself as well, like I would go in the studio before and it was usually in support of someone else because, being a producer, a lot of times it was me kind of sort of helping people, coaching people through certain parts and playing a supportive role. But then when you get to a point where you start having to be on the mic, it's like, okay, like it's that whole thing. I never forget, Centric had a campaign years ago where Chrisette Michele, she was in a commercial and she was saying to herself like, dang, I sound like that. And then her mother said something to her to the effect like, you don't know what you sound like? It's that whole thing of kind of being thrown off by how you sound when your voice is in your ears, and sometimes that process is not as rewarding. It's not as freeing as, like you said, being in front of people. Now, some people I know they don't like doing live at all. I'm the type of person, I thrive in both, but I still prefer to be in front of people. Because it's like it's nothing like that interaction with people based on your music and being able to connect with them one-on-one in person. Like it's cool when somebody like hits you up or DMs you or texts you or even calls you on the phone and say like, yo, like I just heard your song, or I just heard that album, or I just heard that EP, and it's like, man, that joint slam. You know what I'm saying? But it's different when it's in person and you see people's reaction to when you say certain lines like you said, or when like that hook is really good and people start chanting along with you. There's no feeling like that.
No feeling better. Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. I love that feeling. And
Yeah.
I've been told, like, this is the first song, Drop is the first song that I'm releasing after having started going out and performing. I started going out regularly and learning how to perform, how to interact with an artist after I wrote the past two EP. So I
Hmm.
really had no performance experience when I put that out. So
Yeah.
now, come to all this time later, it was about a year ago, I now have written a lot more songs and I perform them. I perform them
Yeah.
live. I kind of workshop them,
Yeah.
and I listen to myself. I video myself, I have someone video me performing live. And then I go into the studio and it sounds completely different. It
Yeah.
doesn't have, for me, it doesn't have the same energy, the same passion, the same live. It doesn't feel
Right.
alive anymore, So I'm trying to learn how to
Exactly.
bring that into the studio. And I've actually been told by friends of mine and complete strangers as well, because with Drop, I wrote the song months ago,
Hmm.
and I have been performing it live now
Yeah.
at places I go. And so my friends, people have heard me perform it live, right? So
Hmm.
now people are hearing the recording, and they're like, wow, it's like two different songs. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's sleeker and sexier recorded, and it's
Yeah.
definitely more amp in person. When I do it in person, I'm watching that Remy hit me. You know what I mean? So I have,
Yeah.
what I mean. So I'm learning, like, it's okay to be both, but I definitely want to
Yeah.
be more comfortable when I'm recording.
Yeah, I think the plus to that is that I think if you gave the same exact energy in person as you do on the record, then it's like, what do you have to look forward to when you actually go see somebody live? Like, if, like in this case, in Drop's case, like Drop is sleeker on the record, but you give a little bit more energy live. I think that works because then it gives people something to look forward to when they see you actually perform it, and they appreciate the song recorded, but it's like, okay, I gotta go see Sunshine live. Like this, it's a must.
I'm glad you said that, because when I first recorded it, I had been performing it live before it was even recorded. And I went into
Hmm.
the studio with the same energy that I've been performing it live with. And I was told, you're going to have to scale it back. Like, if you want it to
Yeah,
be sexy, you're going to have to just take it down
yeah,
a little bit. So
yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. Two different energies for two different places.
Right, right. And listening to your music overall, like, you a person who understands nuance very well. Like, you understand nuance, you understand finer details in a song. Like, I think about what's the song I'm thinking about? Muse. Muse is a perfect example. Time is a good example of, like, there's just little details in the song that you throw in there that's just a little bit different than what you're doing in the foreground. Like, you might throw in like a little ad lib, and it's like, oh man, that ad lib came out of nowhere. It's a little bit different than what was in the back in the foreground, but it was like, you need those like curveballs like that as an
You just
artist.
swelling my head.
I'm calling it like I see it. That's all. That's all it is. You know what
I
I'm
appreciate
saying?
that. Yeah,
Absolutely,
I feel like ad libs are so cool. There's such an
they are.
opportunity to say, what might be going on in the back of your head.
Right, right, exactly.
And I
That's
like
why I love it. Yeah,
flow and making them so, if you might miss it, and it's okay if you miss it.
right,
I'm
right.
saying it for everybody. It's okay if somebody misses it, but then if you're really listening, you're gonna hear it.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So here's an interesting question that I thought of in the midst of us talking. So, having the experience of performing, but then going to a strip club. And the thing about those women is, you said it, they work. There's a level of work that comes to doing what they do. It's not just you just go up on stage, look cute, and dance. Like, no, you actually have to put in some work to be as good as you are. You know what I mean? And there's a performance aspect to it to really sell somebody on the whole thing of, I'm going to pay this woman half of my rent money because she is up there and she is working it, and it's like, I really enjoy what she's doing, so I'm going to pay her my money. Like I was gonna go to the casino and bet on football, but nah, I'd rather just stay here. You know what I'm saying? This is sure money. Like, but flipping that into music and into performance specifically, do you feel like that experience really helped to change or add to your perspective? I won't say change, but add to your perspective as a performing artist.
So much. I not just that experience, but every experience I have. Every experience I have, I can walk away and I can write a song about it. You
Yeah.
know? I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to my friend for saying you need to go to a strip club. Like, you need to know where you need to get played. You need to
Yeah.
see who you need to listen to your music, And I couldn't be more grateful. And then also on top of that, since then I've realized that I do need different experiences. I need to experience things to be able to write about them.
Yeah.
And I've also been trying to start writing songs for other people, like doing reference tracks and ghost writing and that kind of thing. And the experience is crucial.
Yeah.
The experience of like, what can I have my life experiences, but if someone can tell me a story, I can write a song about it. You tell me a
Yeah.
story about something that happened in your life, I can write a song about it. So the more I experience, the more I can bring to helping other people talk about their experiences.
That's powerful. That's powerful because it's important. That's why I feel like you have to live life. You have to, as a lot of people will say, get off the porch. And when you get off the porch, you're able to help somebody else who's either been off the porch, but they just need a little bit of help expressing themselves, or are just getting off the porch or learning how to do that, to kind of sort of give them some guidance, to give them some gems to really find their own voice. You know what I'm saying? Because that's important. That's absolutely
Yeah,
important.
and keep growing our own voices.
That's right.
Every new experiences is an opportunity to learn something new and for me to write something new.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you said drop let everybody know when the single is supposed to release again. And is this going to be a standalone single, or do you plan on having this as part of a project?
Hopefully there's a project coming up.
Okay.
It's slow and steady, but it's gonna
Yeah.
get there.
Okay.
This is gonna be the first single, hopefully, off of it. Um, I'm so like I've got so many beautiful songs. I've got so many just experiences. These
Yeah.
songs are experiences that I cannot wait to share.
Yeah.
And the first one is Drop. The first new one is Drop. Drop. I'm Sunshine Art Therapy, and Drop is dropping December 16th everywhere. And
Yes.
can I say where they can follow me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can follow me, Sunshine for Your Mind, on IG, and Sunshine Art Therapy everywhere else. My music is out Spotify, Apple, all that fun stuff. My YouTube, Sunshine Therapy, and I hope you love it as much as I loved making it, and I can't wait to share it.
Absolutely. And got the information scrolling right at the bottom for people so they can see all of that stuff, boom, because it's all about all of the visuals. You have no excuse not to listen to her music. You have no excuse not to follow her on social media. You have no excuse not to get dropped when it drops December 16th. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And the pre-links, if you go to Sunshine for Your Mind, the pre-links are up there right now. And the pre-links are what matters, y'all, because that's what's going to determine how it gets playlisted, how it gets radio spins, all that stuff is how many people are pre-linking it. So in order to encourage people to pre-link it, if you pre-link it, I'll send you the song right now. All you got to do is screenshot it and send it to me, and I'll send you the song right now. I'll send you the cover art, which is nasty. And
not nasty.
It's just so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
much fun to be able to express myself like this, and I'm so excited to be able to share it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm gonna also say this, ladies and gentlemen, please check out her videos, specifically her lyric videos. Like, the graphic artist completely comes out in her stuff, and it's just good to see. I love watching good well done lyric videos. You know what I'm saying? And Muse is a great example of that. Cheek, another great example of that. Do you have a lyric video for Time as well, if I'm not mistaken?
I
Or is
did
that just a video?
I did. It's just a video.
Okay.
It's like slow down speed. I'm going to do a lyric video.
Okay.
Lyric video, and also Credit does not have a lyric video either.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are going to be coming. I do them myself. You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah.
they get done when they get done.
Trust me, I know. I do my own as well, and it's like, look, when I can get to them, it'll come out.
We definitely have to talk graphics. I want to hear all about it. We've never talked graphics before.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have the level of experience that you have. Like I feed off of the fact that I was, like I said, I started off as a visual artist when I was a kid, but like I've focused mainly on like the recording art since then. But still having that visual of knowing what I want to see, knowing how I want it to look. I think that just kind of sort of informs everything else that I do, even with the music. You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm sure
important.
You can relate to that
it's
too.
so important to know what you want your aesthetics to be. Like,
right.
Even if you don't have any idea how to do it. Like, I don't know how to write a beat, but I know what I want my beats to sound like, you know?
Right. And that brings up one last question. So is that something that you would ever entertain doing? Would you ever entertain like doing your own beats?
So when 2 years ago, when I first started writing music, I tried writing a beat. Okay. And it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. It took me like a month. It was so stressful. Like I did not care for it at all. Like I did not like it, you know? Yeah. And the opposite of writing songs, because the first time I ever wrote a song, I was like, this is amazing. Oh, I never want to stop. Yeah. But writing the beat it wasn't for me, you know? Yeah. And I think, could I take a class? Maybe. Could I, could I learn it? There's no skill that I think we can't learn if we put our minds to. But am I interested in doing it? Does it bring me joy? No, I like writing. I like writing songs, and
I love the honesty of that. I absolutely love the honesty of that. And I know a lot of people probably would hate to hear me say this, but maybe I don't feel that strongly about it, but that's kind of how I feel about DJing. Like I DJ, but it's not my favorite thing to do out of all of the things that I do well. Like if I had to put it in order, I would say production is first. Writing rhymes is second. I would probably actually say, I would say this media, podcast, radio, content creation. I would say that would be third, then graphic arts, and probably a couple of other things in between, and then like DJing somewhere like toward the bottom.
Wow. No, that's beautiful though, because we all have to know like what we enjoy. There's nothing wrong with what you enjoy. What's your passion? What's your favorite thing to do?
Right. Yeah, but I really appreciate the honesty, but I also feel like you don't have to make a beat to be a producer. Like the production process, I think a lot of times people think you have to touch an instrument or you have to, play a drum or you got to play some keys or whatever to call yourself a producer. When it comes down to it, if you know what you want to hear and you know how it needs to be executed and you see it from start to finish, that makes you a producer because you're a visionary and you know what needs to go where, know what needs to be done in order to make it a finished product, So
that's a very good point. After Past Due, when I started connecting with producers, that's when I started being able to say, I really like this beat. Could you do this? Could you, you know what I mean? And that's what happened with Drop. And shout out to Time and Big P, the producers, Ghetto Melodic of Drop. Y'all amazing. And they put up with me in a way you can't even believe. Because I was like, I like it, but can we? I like it, can we? And and they're absolutely brilliant. And I think that's what I would like to do if I could find amazing producers like them and continue like growing this network of collaborators. You know what I mean? Artists and collaborations and I've been doing that this past year. Like I said, I have like all these songs now that I'm trying to finish up and start to just drop.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it just flows naturally. It's like you can't say drop without saying I'm about to drop. You know. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I first and foremost want to just thank you for your time this evening. Like, this has been a fantastic conversation. Just getting to know you as an artist, getting to know you as a person, getting to know a little bit about your backstory, your creative process. That's one of the things that fascinates me so much about fellow artists is everybody has their own creative process. Everybody gets to the point of how they create. And then especially when you're a lyricist or you're a rapper or hip hop artist, you know, however you brand yourself, how you express your thoughts and make it fall on the paper, so to say. That's the part I always love the most in terms of like digging beyond just what you hear. You know, there's so many stories that you could have just beyond those. I mean, you think about a song like Drop, it's only like 2 minutes and 12 seconds. You know, like it's a short song, but there's so many layers in those 2 minutes and 12 seconds that's why I have this platform to be able to showcase, you know, the brilliance behind a song that, you know, the average person would hear like, oh, this is trying to make, you know, I shake my ass to, you know what I'm saying? But there's conviction behind the bars that's shaking your ass.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This was so much fun. Like, your questions were so insightful and like made me really think. And I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. I do my best to make each experience for whoever comes on any of my platforms a one-of-a-kind experience. And, you know, I'm grateful that you've come on here and really, especially because you are the first, because I've had other artists on the show before, but they were connected to my music. You being the first person where I'm highlighting your music, it's about you, and you just shined in this process. So I definitely appreciate you being the first to, you know what I'm saying, pop that cherry, so to say.
Well, now, you know, what we got to do is we got to work on something together.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm here for it. Absolutely. So, you know, once again, I appreciate you. And of course, you sent me another song. I feel like, you know, we should throw that in the mix as well. Sunshine Therapy. Is that the name of the song as well?
Sunshine Therapy. It is unreleased. I don't know when it's going to be coming out. It needs a couple of tweaks, but we'll give you a little behind the scenes if you're feeling it.
All right. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and play that, and then we're going to officially close out right here on The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. Let's go.
Baby, I could be a therapy. We could live out your deepest fantasy. Turn your dreams into a reality. Feel crazy good when you're next to me. I don't never wanna cause you pain. Know you feel like you'll never love again. I'll be there no matter what the future brings. We could find joy in the simple things. I'm giving you a diagnosis. This goes deeper than the surface. In case you haven't noticed, call it witchcraft, I got the hocus pocus. Sunshine therapy, I'ma recharge your battery. I'ma renew your energy. You gon' feel better when you're next to me. Sunshine therapy, I'ma recharge your battery. I'ma renew your energy. You gon' feel better when you're next to me. Baby, I don't wanna let you down. I don't ever even wanna see you frown. Baby, you a pleasure just to be around. When it gets too heavy, let me fix your crown. I'm giving you a new prescription. Only giving you one kind of friction. Story all true, no kind of fiction. You should get with me, I'll be a new addiction. Let me be a healing place. Look you in the eye, give you my face to face. Don't you know this love can never be replaced? Call the big baddie a new safe space. Sunshine therapy, I'ma recharge your battery. I'ma renew your energy. You gon' feel better when you're next to me. Sunshine therapy, I'ma recharge your battery. I'ma renew your energy. You gon' feel better when you're next to me. New prescription, new addiction. That's my mission. ambition. You gon' feel better when you're next to me. New prescription, new addiction. That's my ambition. I could be a sunshine therapy.
Yes, yes, yes. Sunshine Therapy. You know what I like about that song? What it puts me in the mind of? This is going to sound like a weird cross, but it gives me Khalees meets Kashif. So Kashif, I don't know if you are familiar with Kashif. Kashif did a lot of production for people like Melba Moore, if you ever heard of Melba Moore, Evelyn Champagne King. I'm trying to think, who else did he produce for back in the day? He produced Whitney Houston. How could I forget? He was one of the first people to put Whitney Houston on a song. In fact, Kashif produced "You Give Good Love." So yeah, yeah. So Kashif has this song. I want to say it's from his third album. It's called "Condition of the Heart." Lyrically, it reminds me of that song. Like the stuff that you say in your song, it kind of reminds me of his song as well. You know what I'm saying? But like the way you deliver like the vocals, it kind of puts me in the mind of Khalees, you know? So yeah, that's a nice little vibe right there.
Oh, thank
yeah.
you.
No
Thank you.
doubt.
I love Khalees. Khalees is another one of my favorites.
Yeah. I like Khalees as well. Yeah. So
That song was very, very challenging. That song, I don't consider myself a great singer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that song required that I sing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, and most of my producers don't want me using autotune. They're like, I hate autotune, whatever. So there's no autotune and everything. I still want to add some autotune. Like there's some things I want to do. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's just raw, you know. It's just raw, and it just came from such a real place, like, you know, just wanting to be someone's happy place, you know.
Yeah. That's dope. I like that. Someone's happy place. Yeah, and I'm glad that, I mean, I can see it in places, but I'm glad that it's more raw, because I feel like you could throw it, like splash it here, splash it there with the auto tune, but it's one of those songs, I think, because of what you're saying you want to do with the song, it being more of your raw vocals makes it more authentic, or makes it more honest. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate that about the song. Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate your platform. This has just been a great experience.
Yes. Same for me as well. I appreciate you. And one more time, let everybody know where they can follow you. Let everybody know when drop is coming out, and plug whatever you want to plug. This is your time.
Okay, y'all. No. So drop. I'm Sunshine Therapy. Sunshine Art Therapy on Spotify, Apple, and all the streaming platforms. My new song Drop is dropping on December 16th. It is sexy, it is raunchy, it is fun. And the pre-link is available now, which you can pick up if you go to my IG, Sunshine for Your Mind.
Yes, absolutely. And once again, thank you so much for, like I said, being the first to open this up for other artists, because I've been getting people asking me, you know, when you gonna open it up? I'm like, you know, eventually, you know. So
I'm truly
this is
honored.
Eventually.
I'm truly honored. I feel just so very special, and thank you so much. This was great. This was absolutely great.
My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in for this episode of The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. If you want to continue to connect with what we do, you can follow me on social media. I am at AJ Throwback on Facebook and Twitter, and at a.j.throwback on Instagram and TikTok, and at AJ Throwback 928 right here on YouTube. And if you like the merch that you see, definitely make sure that you hit me up at Batch202. Batch.202 on Facebook and Instagram, and also Twitter at Batch_202, and definitely get you some of this nice little crispy merch right here.
Oh, I'm feeling that artist shirt.
Appreciate that.
One of them.
Yes, and it got to show the whole shirt. Independent artist with a major presence. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right. Just because you indie doesn't mean that you ain't big time. You know,
That's
it's all about the mentality.
That's right. Love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And until the next time, y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you next time right here on The Maximum Sentence with your man, AJ Throwback, where there's conviction behind the bars. All right. So until then, see you next time. Peace.
Maximize guidelines. My lawyer can't give me his advice when he's beast that I murder carry mandatory minimums of life. Yikes. In case you didn't get the point, we spit bars.